keyboards. Alright, for this my installation, I'm just going to start off by talking to you quickly about the process how I came to it and the similarities between my two ideas, and then I'll show you my installation and talk about why I did it a certain way. So I start off with this Max program, a little bit confused as we all are, and then I was just kind of force ideas for that first week, and nothing was really coming out. And then through the tutorials, I saw the skeleton, how to map out your skeleton, and when you'd move, it would highlight which joint was moving. So I wanted to do something involving that because I quite liked it. So I came up with the idea of having two skeletons, and whenever a part would move, it would highlight and then connect a line between the two, and each part would have that specific tune. But then a couple of weeks into that, I had to stand back, look at my idea, and I just looked at, I've spent this much time into it, I've got this much time left, I won't be able to do it. So then I sat down the next day trying to come up with a new idea. So I came up with this idea and brought some of the similarities across, which you'll see. The similarities which I brought across was the lines and then the tune again. So this time the input will be the keyboards. So we'll have two people interacting with that. And when they push a key on the keyboard, it'll make a tune and it'll draw a line on the screen. So that's what it does basically. I wanted to try and make it sort of an experience opposed to you guys just sitting here and watching it. So try and make it a little bit more enjoyable. And then the lines are randomized, and I've done that for a specific reason, which I'll talk about after my installation. Would I have any volunteers for this? Shorter people, hopefully. Like some boxes. No? Anyone else? No? Alright. Sit right up. Go crazy. What did you do? Some of the lines, or some of the keys will just move a line and not draw a line. Some of them do have specific function. Anyone else like to go? No?
The one on that side means something different or the same?
They draw different lines depending on which key. So I've randomized it, it's just the tune's the same. So I've randomized it just so there's no like real corny picture. And also so like they can I wanted to see what they'd do with it. If they would try like draw something or to just do what they did and just do random stuff. So that's basically my idea behind randomizing it. Yeah, that's about it. Any questions?
Can I get you to test the keyboard on the left? Because I wasn't sure if it was actually making a noise.
Oh, it's just the speakers.
Oh, I see. Okay.
Or not. Sorry.
Yeah.
The keyboard's a bit faulty. And also sometimes you can't see the lines because of up there. Bulk in.
So are there a fixed number of lines?
Yes, there's 4 to 6 lines, but each key either goes to 1 line or 2 lines, or it moves line, or it changes the colour of the line, or it makes a big rectangle thing. And some of the lines go to the screen, so when it rotates around you'll see more lines.
What was the choice around making noise as part of your installation and having an audio aspect?
Well, that got brought over from my skeleton idea, and also I know that a lot of them are video related, so I wanted to take it away from that video. So then the idea came up from audio, and then in the interactive works and that, there was quite a few audio-based ones, which I did like.
So what's the significance of two people operating this at the same time? And I presume they are controlling the same sounds and got the same functions on the keyboard, so what's that relationship?
just so they can try to collaborate. So like you could have one person doing it and then they tell the other person to do it, or they could be if I push this key and I push this key, what does it do? Because I left it quite open with that aspect just to give them a lot of freedom, so then I don't really know the limits to it.
Why were you interested in doing that rather than having it controlled?
Just because if I were to do it controllable, like, there'd probably just be some corny picture which would make, which I don't really want to. So that's mainly why I made it more open.
And before people operating and you couldn't see what was happening, what's the significance of that, do you think, when the action was happening behind something else?
Well, in one of the readings it's talking about every action has a reaction. So if they push a key, the reaction is it doesn't really have a choice. So like it's more behind the scenes with some of the stuff you do. So then they don't really know what's going on.
And so the relationship with someone not going on, is that something that you're exploring as well?
Yes, and kind of in the aspect that it's like random, just to see what they'll react to it.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit more about your first thinking behind the random sort of notion, because it doesn't feel very random, it feels like there's a fixed number of things that can be activated. Can you talk a bit more about what you...
Yeah, it is like a fixed number, but the way I did it is so I don't know that number, so I just connected everything randomly. So then they would themselves would be figuring out how it does it. So I wouldn't know the limits to it. So then they could do something which I'd be blown away by.
Is it random every time? Is it random?
No. So that's why they can figure it out, because each key has a specific thing which it does. But initially it comes across as random.
You've kind of set it up in a certain way as well, and you've got people facing each other.
Yeah.
Was that intentional? And they've got their own speaker each and details like that?
Yes, they're facing each other, so that was to try to get them to collaborate more, opposed to them just standing there looking at the screen. And then the speakers just so they can hear the tunes for what they're doing. Because obviously you've got the left and right, but I found out yesterday that the right one wasn't working.
What did you think about in terms of like the setting, like for your installation? Did you make a conscious decision about how the sort of like gallery setting would influence the interaction, or like what was your intention with the sort of?
I wanted the space to be more open, and then obviously just have that in the middle there as like the key thing.
Yeah.
So then they know like that's what the input is.
So you're thinking of it like this would be presented like at a sort of an interactive exhibition, and people would just know that there was something to play with. Kind of.
Yeah.
The thing I like about your installation is it reminds me of architecture.
Yeah, well, at school I did do graphics and architecture was involved in that, so that kind of cool.
If you got two architects on it, maybe they could
Yeah.
control both things too. Pretty cool.
Thanks.
Have you thought about, like, it feels now that it's reached an end point in terms of the construction of more content. Have you thought about sort of how that is and how that reads and structures the book?
What do you mean by that?
Well, so it's got to a point now where, like, let's see,
Yeah.
so how do you intend to manage that interaction at that point?
What do you mean by manage it?
Is the fact that I get to a point where press the keys and nothing happens, is that something you want to be experienced, or is that?
Yes, just in that case that it's randomized, so they'll be like, oh, why isn't this working, and then they'll go to another key, might not be working as well, but then they go to another one, the line will be jumping up there or something, and then they're like, oh, that shit is doing something.
So if I go to the university and have differences, then once it's built,
Reference in the number of stuff, I don't specify what it is.
I suppose that's not, as a strategy, that's not really clear to me. And because it's not unlimited randomness, it will reach a point where everything will be done. And I think you sort of, in an especially situation like this, you sort of want to think about how to manage that. In terms of sort of after a period of time, or after every key is sort of fixed and then reset.
Yeah. Well, there is a reset function in there. It's not specified to be you got to click the mouse. There's also with this, there is no reset function, you can leave it like that, and then someone else can come and add to it, and then you can add it to.
When you talked about corny pictures before, what exactly do you mean?
Well, like, you could do something like quite advanced. It's just then that's all you can do. Because I feel if the little picture would be a lot more limited. So it's sort of like a corny picture, you wouldn't get anything too flash really.
So when you say corny picture, what do you mean? A picture of?
Just something random really. There wouldn't be much significance behind it, I think.
We should probably move on soon, but I just want to mention some things about the presentation as well. I guess attention to detail of like the screen from a slight angle, and you probably just knocked it and things like that make a big difference to reading, and also the menu bars still up. And little details like that make a big significance to the reading, and the mouse is showing. Generally, it's quite nicely laid out. I noticed that the two keyboards were also different.
Yeah.
And so because of that, you kind of want to force some meaning onto that for some reason.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all the, I guess, just be aware of all the little details and how that's significant to the reading. Just that attention to detail.
Yeah.
I think you're right, but I also think that you've commented there about that there's been quite a lot of consideration given to the space. And
Yes,
it's just that next level of consideration.
Yeah.
Look, for me, and this is what everybody we go through to deciding whether you really want the pyramid on top of the wall, whether to be in the same space. Like these things start to become active.
And most details you can go on forever as well in a certain way. That there's always more detail you can put attention to.
Yeah.
And you have gone a certain way, but you just keep on pushing it, everything.
All right.
Yeah, cool.
Did you choose the colors of the line? Or are
Yes
they
and no, kind of just does mainly green. But like when you push, there's one key in there which will change the colour to red or blue. I just went either better, just make it look more visually appealing.
Anything else?
Cool.
Thanks, Chris.